Okay, I don't really know how to splice this together. I'm not even going to lie to you. But after watching my last video playback, I did want to go ahead and come back to you guys for part two. There were just a couple things that I forgot to mention that I really think are pertinent. I did mention before that your brain is made of brain matter. So the gray areas, you know. But what I forgot to mention was that we also go ahead and manifest our own precipitation or rainfall, if you will, by tears. And tears are a phenomenon that even scientists can't really figure out. We don't know why they're useless. Tears are useless. Um, there's no defense mechanism outside of getting something out of your eye that's not supposed to be there. So when you have a piece of dust that gets past your eyelash and finally touches your actual, your occipital lens, if you will, then your tear duct tears and it's supposed to wash it out. Okay, but other than that, there's not really supposed to be, like, when you're sad, there's not really a reason why your body would have this defense mechanism of crying. That's something that I really want you guys to think about for yourselves. I don't want to answer any questions about that. Why do you think that you cry? Why do certain animals like elephants cry? I did just shuffle cards. What I got was the earth sign up in the upright. So this could be Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo. This is fascinating too if you just watch my other video. There is the 7 of Cups in the reverse. So this is basically saying, like, there's no choice. So Earth has no choice but to become the Empress. The Empress could be a Libra, if you will, or somebody who's pregnant, a pregnancy, this is an amazing read given what I just said in my last video. I would suggest you go back and look at it. But when you're talking about water flow and you think about your thoughts, your ideas, your perceptions, the way that a prism of light is somewhat a water droplet, and then there is a rainbow that happens directly afterwards. It's an anomaly of nature that, the word tear, T-E-A-R, is also the word for tear, like a tear or a rip or a wrinkle in time. So when you think about your birthday and your death day, when you think about tearing up or getting misty-eyed or getting, a little bit emotional about things, even the strongest people who don't tend to show emotion at any point in time tend to get emotional over birthdays of new babies, like the birth of a new baby or the death of somebody that they really love. And I think that not only is that one of those unexplainable scientific events that doesn't need explaining, it's also one of the things that makes us human, or makes us a primary intelligent being, sentient being, if you will. I think I've always had a very large fondness for hippopotamuses and elephants. And I think that's why, is because elephants will stay and mourn the death of their child for days before they will catch up with the rest of the group. Not to say that that's a good thing, but it just denotes that they've got a deep understanding that they are water signs mentally, that they've got a compassion and a passion for their children within themselves that is deeper than some humans that I know, unfortunately. A lot of people will cry when they see, Marley and Me, kind of the movies, or Homeward Bound, or, I know I do. But when I watch movies where humans are getting shot left and right and falling to the ground, it kind of just goes over my head sometimes because I've seen it so much. You become a little bit desensitized, and tears actually help us to recognize the moments in which we're vulnerable. So when a life form on a different planet becomes relevant or feasible or observable by us. I think there's something to be said for the fact that that life form, that entity is also vulnerable to our thoughts, to our compassion, to our level of understanding of those two components as they relate to one another. When there's two hydrogen molecules and they come together, so H2, and then a third one is O, oh, you have a heart, when you think about a heart, you can think about the heart having two separate colors associated. When the water in your heart, or your blood, for example, is contained within your body, it is blue in your veins, to be honest. When it meets the oxygen, or the O2, it automatically turns red. So when you open a vein, and that's a very cliche, tongue-in-cheek kind of way to say, when you hurt yourself or hurt someone else, or cut deeply, when you tear something open, when you rip it apart, then you have exposed it to the oxygen and you've aired it out. Okay? That's when things turn bloody red, I hate to say that, and I'm not trying to be at all facetious, but I am just trying to say that, even in the medical industry, that's something that you'll learn, is that there's different veins in your heart, vena cava, the aorta, there's a whole bunch, there's different ways that different fluids in your body react to different experiences, and the way that the fluids in your body react specifically to exposure to the air have a lot to do with temperature, especially when it comes to your blood. So, if you leave urine out for too long, it turns into ammonia. When you leave blood exposed outside of your vein, it turns from blue to red. There is a alchemical change that happens in the atmosphere of the world, of your body in the world, when you have a human body, which we all have been gifted with. And I just wanted to also go ahead and address that. I think that the idea of there being the possibility of an idea that is an idea you can be pregnant with an idea. You can be pregnant literally, with, like, physically about to have a baby. You can be very wealthy in your mindset, in your gray matter. You can be very wealthy in your physical matter, and you can be very wealthy in terms of your ability to manifest. So a lot of artists are able to just have idea after idea after idea and actually make them happen. These are all ways in which water or emotion, oftentimes we look at people's art and it's easy to judge it. It's easy to say, hey, I don't like your art. I think that my 2-year-old could have done better than that, but if you look at Picasso versus a Monet, versus like a, I don't know what example you want to use. You use whatever example you want. I think that there comes a moment when you realize whatever medium you've used, you've taken your emotions on the inside and made them visible for everybody else. And largely when you cry and there's that in-between state of bliss and unhappiness, or whatever grayscale you're talking about, from black and white, from yes and no. Yeah, I think there is a definite I don't know what word I'm looking for here, but I think it's a tangible kind of understanding that somebody else is experiencing something deeply when they cry. I think that can go in a positive way or a negative way. You can recognize that somebody's experiencing something deeply in a good way and be compassionate towards it, or you can try to affect a reaction, which is maybe more of a manipulation. And I think that that has a lot to do with intention. So I guess when I'm talking about water, my overall goal is to try to help you guys think very consciously and mindfully about the ways in which you manifest, in which the ways in which your intentions have turned, whether they're positive or negative, myself included. I, that's at the end of the day, that's what makes us humans, is our ability to relate with each other and our ability to think deeply, because it's something that we can't take for granted versus not thinking at all. So that's all I really have to say. And I hope you guys enjoyed this first segment here. I will try not to have 2 videos next time. Anyway, have a good one. Bye.